Hi guys, this is Kirabitzi. I'm back again today with another video, another episode. So today I'm gonna be ranting. Um, People that have me on WhatsApp know how much I enjoy doing these and giving them a piece of my mind when it comes to um, pain points, for a lot of people in the workplace, or people what people have experienced in the workplace at some point in their lives. So in times like this where we have load shedding, where we have load shedding, and load shedding usually comes with connectivity issues or network problems or signal problems, and you find some team leaders or managers not being empathetic or not being very considerate when it comes to these things, and especially in setups that are remote setups, um, and having come from the height of COVID, where most people worked from home, or as things have been easing up, as we get into to post COVID, where some people are still working remotely, and whereby some people will always work remotely, right? Um, so what I was having a chat about with a friend of mine, based on what people have shared with me, their experiences, and also what I've seen happen in the workspace sometimes, or at some point, is that with load shedding, load shedding comes with schedules, not schedule, schedules, with schedules, and at least you can plan ahead. You can have your devices charged up, backed up, um, connectivity, alternative connectivity measures, where you'll maybe probably hotspot from your phone or from someone's phone, or go to a place where there's secure internet, or make an arrangement to go to the office, especially on days where you've got a lot to deliver, or you've got a lot to do, or you've got very important meetings that you can't miss out on, stuff like that. And sometimes, besides load shedding, and sometimes you just have connectivity issues. We all know how internet service providers have their own issues, and where you'll experience signal issues, connectivity issues, Wi-Fi problems, fiber problems, all sorts of problems, that are pertaining, or that are from, or that are just connectivity issues, right? And you experience these, whether it's from load shedding and stuff, or your backup measures from load shedding, don't are not very effective at that point, or for some reason, but let me just focus on the load shedding part first. Sometimes, like, you're in a remote setup, but then you've got an option, or you can go to your office, so that you can deliver, on a very close deadline, or on a very important presentation, or something that just takes precedence over everything that you're doing or that you're busy with. You go to the office for things like that. You go to the office for meetings that you can't miss, and you just go all the way for things that are very dire, or things that are very, like, that take precedence over everything, like I said, but then honestly, there are moments, or there are times where work is just very operational, and very, where it's just, where it remains routine, and things, you can get back to things, you can catch up on things later on, you can sit in your lunch hour, that day, or the next day, or for a couple of days, and you can just make arrangements at work you know, because of load shedding or because of power problems and or energy problems, you know, things like that. But unfortunately, you find that in some workspaces, that is not an option. You know, you're not allowed to have load shedding problems. You're not allowed to have connectivity problems. And every time you do have any of that problem, it doesn't matter where you are in your operations, whether you have a close deadline or whether things are just operational, you need to report to the office because you have a bit of a problem, you know? And unfortunately, those things or that kind of behavior, you know, or that kind of expectation or that kind of pressure creates a very toxic and hostile environment in the workspace. Because, in all honesty, guys, an unhappy employee is never a productive employee. Let's break it down. So, I have a connectivity problem today. Or on whatever day. I have a connectivity problem, connectivity issue, and I can't join a stand-up meeting or a standing meeting that takes place every day with my immediate team, with the team that I work with every day or that I'm working on a particular project, right? We have a meeting every day. It's not a client meeting. It's not a meeting with the director. It's not a board meeting. It's nothing of that sort. It's a standing meeting. We have it every day or every other day, right? I can't make a meeting like that, or I miss a meeting like that because of load shedding or because I have connectivity issues. Is it not possible that I debrief whoever the team leader is, or the project leader is, the manager is later on, or even prior to the meeting? Because sometimes you can tell, or you just are having connectivity issues from the morning, you know, and sometimes ISPs are courteous enough to send a message to say we're fixing a cable problem or whatever problem in such and such an area, right? And you have problems like that you are aware of, or just sudden connectivity problems. You can type a message to you then type a message to your team leader or leader that you're working with, or team member, fellow team member, to say, hey, hi guys, I won't be joining the meeting because of 1 2 3 4, you know, and you take those measures and you are proactive in that regard, and you let people know what's going on with you, and later on you then do deliver, and you do provide feedback. You do provide a brief about where you currently are with whatever it is that you need to deliver, right? Where my problem is what I was saying, that some people would then, or some managers would then expect you to report to an office because you have those challenges. And mind you, sometimes people have those challenges or experience those challenges when they are on par with their work, when they've been delivering, when they are super productive and they are high performers and nothing is ever missing. And these are people that are sometimes what we can call above reproach. You know, there aren't any issues when it comes to them delivering or their work, you know, but then someone will insist that no, you need to be at the office because you don't have backup power systems, or you don't have backup connectivity measures, you know, so you need to be in an office. Let's just say that person that you're demanding, or that is expected to do that, you know, lives in Soweto, works in Midrand. Midrand is a good 55 kilometers one way from Soweto. So what that means is, if I work in Midrand and I live in Soweto, I have to be up at 4:30, right? To be ready by 5:30 and be out of the house at 6, to be at the office at 7 or 7:30. Sit through traffic, right? Sit through traffic to get to the office, be at the office, be able to attend that standing meeting, come back home at knock off time, sit through traffic, 55 kilometers, almost 2 hours to be back at home just because of a meeting. How toxic is that? How hostile is that? Is that someone that wants to stay in a team like that, or in a business like that, or under a leader like that puts them through some of those things, And and I'm highlighting this because I've seen how some managers are empathetic, how some managers would put up measures to sort of circumvent hostility, or like a very toxic expectation or environment that expects people to jump hoops and tires and everything so that they can attend a meeting or so that they can deliver something. And so where people are now missing out on important parts of their lives, like being able to pick up their children from work, being able to be home on time, being able to go to the gym, and being able to do a lot of other things that matter to them. There are very empathetic managers or people like that. The other day, I was so I was sitting in a meeting with a manager and a subordinate, and this subordinate had was experiencing some of the issues that I just mentioned, right? And at the end of the meeting, the manager said to this guy, dude, you need to stop. You need to stop apologizing for things that are out of your control. If you're experiencing connectivity issues, there's only so much you can do about that. If you're experiencing load shedding, there's only so much you can do about that. You need to start. You need to stop apologizing for things that are out of your control. And I actually realized, well, not realized. I said to this guy, and he made me realize that this guy always does that. This guy is always apologizing for things that are outside of their control. So in me going back to this guy to emphasize what the manager had been saying, this guy made me aware of where he was coming from, the environment that he came from, where there was no room for you to make any mistake in that regard, where you couldn't have connectivity issues, where you couldn't where if you had load shedding issues, you needed to start your car, go to the office. Didn't matter what time it was in the day, but you just had to go to the office so that you can fill in the hours for that day. And I mean, guys, if you've been in an environment like that for about 3 years, 4 years, I mean, it becomes part of you. It becomes part of your DNA. It becomes part of your behavior in apologizing and being frightened that, oh, shucks, I can't miss a meeting, or I can't miss 1 hour of work because then it's a problem, despite the fact that this person is delivering, outside of these issues, this person is a high performer, this person is very productive, and I'm saying all of these things because, guys, we need to have conversations with our leaders outside of these problems, before these problems occur, or before we are confronted by our leaders about such issues. We need to spark the conversation with them, and make them aware that if such and such a thing happens, what is the expectation, and how best can we circumvent, or how best can we mitigate the situation, without me having to bend over backwards, without me having to do things that would then affect my productivity, and my how pleasant the workplace is for me, or the team being part of this team is for me. We need to spark those conversations proactively, so that we don't spark them when we're confronted, and it almost becomes like a defense mechanism, or almost becomes like we're trying to defend ourselves. So we need to have the conversation before anything happens, so that expectations are set, and expectations are able to be managed, and like I said in the other in one of my videos, that I've worked both locally, for South African companies and international companies, and having worked in the US market, one of the greatest things the US market, or the US based companies do or invest in, is great company culture. you know a lot of them, not I won't speak for all of them, and I'll speak for those that I've been exposed to. They invest a lot in having a very pleasant company culture. They invest in training. They just invest in a lot of facets. They make sure that there's activities that foster people to interact, that foster a pleasant environment, that foster interaction, that foster pleasant interaction, genuine interaction, and they do that very intentionally, and looking at the health or the job market in the US. It's a very healthy job market there. And what I've realized, I used to think that, no, these people are doing this because there's a lot of competition for their talent, and that's why I used the word intentional just now, that they do it very intentionally, not just because they're trying to keep people, or they're trying to lower their attrition rates and stuff like that. No, they do it very intentionally. They invest intentionally in good company culture and in good work-life balance, because one of the main reasons people move around, even I've started to notice this even in South Africa, is that people are not always moving around for and especially pre-COVID, people didn't always move around for money, or for a better salary, but people started moving around, or changing jobs because of a better work-life balance, so that people can be able to attend parents' evenings, so that people can attend soccer matches for their kids. They can be able to participate in their kids' programs and in their kids' lives, and just to be a present family members. It started working for companies that offer a better work-life balance and a better company, a more pleasant company culture, and there's a couple of ways to assess that. There's a couple of ways to try and figure out and determine the pleasantness of a company, and how great their company culture is, and some of that, and some of one of the simplest ways to do that is just to check, and I know, just before I go there, companies in South Africa, not a lot of companies in South Africa have invested in tools like Glassdoor, where you can check reviews on companies, what their previous employees and current employees are saying about their culture, about their salaries, about their promotion structures and stuff like that, but then there are ways, where you can during the recruitment process, you ask about attrition rate, the reasons why that role is open, so I've noticed how people are aware and are taking that into very serious consideration, which is a very pleasant company culture, and a very good work-life balance, that is a benefit in a business, so like I was saying, guys, we need to foster those conversations with our managers, with our leaders, with people that we report to, you know, with our direct leadership, you know, so that we don't come across as defensive when the confrontation happens against us, you know, when we are being confronted, right? So with that being said, guys, let's make sure that we are also above reproach, that we are delivering, that we are not in doubt, or we are not doubted when we are not in front of, or in front or next to our managers, or in the same space with our managers, to say, are they even working, are they even online, or as I'm seeing them online, are they really online, you know, are they really working, you know? So we need to ensure and provide that much confidence to our managers, to the businesses that we are employed in or employed by, you know, to say, to make them comfortable, to know that we are delivering and we are being productive, and we're not just being productive, but then we are being high performers, and we are high performers, right? So yeah, guys, this is another topic that I'd like to explore even more, with people that are managers, of people, or people that have managed people within smaller teams, in large teams, remotely, or in offices, you know, in physical offices. So yeah, until then, I'll definitely do another video on this with someone else. I'll have it as an interview soon, and very soon. And I promise that until the next video, Minitanda Nonke 99.